Hello everybody. Today I want to talk about the anatomy of a shark bite. Sharks have fascinated me ever since I was a child. Ever since I can remember, probably about the age of 7, I've actually been able to study and research sharks. I've been to the library, I do online research, I do everything on my own independently because I'm just that fascinated. But there are 3 species of shark in particular that I want to talk about. The great white shark, the tiger shark, and my personal favorite, the bull shark. These 3 species concern most people because they're the only 3 species that have been classified as a man-eater. They have very defining characteristics, which I'm going to go over. I want to go over the different hunting strategies of each shark in particular and what makes them dangerous. And then I also want to discuss how you can prevent from getting bit and what to do in case of a shark attack. So first, let me talk about the great white shark. The great white shark is probably the most famous Hollywood over-dramatized shark there is in the open ocean. It's actually one of the less lethal sharks. It is the largest predatory fish in the open ocean. It can grow up to 20 to 25 feet in length, and usually can probably have been recorded at about 5,000 pounds. That's a pretty heavy shark. That's a pretty heavy fish. Its defining characteristic that gave it its name is the white underbelly that it has underneath it. It's the largest predatory fish, but it has the most solid white underbelly. Therefore, it's known as the great white. The top part of its body is a gray overcoating that looks like stone. The gray overcoating helps in its hunting strategy because it helps it to blend in with the sea floor. The great white shark hunts its prey. First, it'll track its prey down, and it can hunt its prey from up to 3 miles away. It can smell 1 drop of water or 1 drop of blood in over 36 gallons of water. It dives down underneath its prey, and then it lunges upward at 25 to 35 miles per hour. Takes the prey completely in its mouth and breaches the water. And then once it hits the water, it thrashes around repeatedly until it rips its prey to shreds. The next shark I want to talk about is the tiger shark. One of the interesting things about this shark is its nickname is the wastebasket of the sea. The reason it got this nickname is because it literally will eat anything. It's like a big garbage disposal. There have been things pulled out of the tiger shark's stomach, from human fingers and toes to children's toys to frisbees to license plates to car tires. It literally consumes anything that it comes across. Its most defining characteristic is the stripes that are on its back. However, most people don't realize that those stripes are only on juvenile sharks. Once they hit adulthood or mature adulthood, the stripes actually fade and they become a solid color. They kind of get boring, I guess you could say, after that. But the tiger shark's not really that much of a threat. I mean, it is a man-eater, and it does eat anything that it comes across. But it only hunts in tropical waters. It has to be really warm, and it has to be tropical. Otherwise, they usually don't stick around. They don't like the cold temperature very much. But the way they hunt, they mainly use their eyesight to hunt. They have a very acute sense of vision, and they can see better than most human beings. They have a 20/10 vision. Most of them have a 20/10 vision, which gives them the ability to see very far off, and they can hone in on just about anything that crosses their path. And they put it in their mouth. The tiger shark, it's not a very aggressive species, but at the same time it can be provoked based on what you look like and whether it's hungry or not. The last species I'm going to talk about is my personal favorite. It's the bull shark. Its defining characteristics It has a very blunt snout, and it has a very bad attitude. The bull shark is actually the most dangerous species of shark on the planet. It has the strongest bite force that has been recorded by the Shark Research Institute of the Florida Keys as being up to 4,000 pounds per square inch, which is a lot considering the most a human being can bite has been recorded at 6 to 1,200 pounds per square inch. That's a huge amount of bite pressure. It hunts in a streamlined method. It tracks its prey down, and then it will bolt at the prey at over 35 miles per hour. It slams into the prey with that huge amount of bite force, and I'm promising you, whatever you've got in its mouth is going to come off. If your arm's in its mouth, it's ripping your arm off. And there is no doubt about that. The bull shark is responsible for the most amount of death on mankind. It has caused over 73%, according to the National Shark Research Institute. It's taken over 73% of all totaled shark deaths are attributed to the bull shark. But its most fascinating characteristic is its ability to survive and thrive in fresh water. The bull shark doesn't just need to be in salt water. It actually gives birth, and the bull shark gives live birth. It does not lay eggs. The bull shark gives live birth in fresh water. It actually swims up the Mississippi River and goes into small tributaries and it has its children. To understand how it has the ability to do this, you've got to understand how a shark breathes. Which I personally feel like the National Geographic Association actually has done the best job of describing how a shark can breathe in the water. Water naturally has oxygen-enriched nutrients. And the way the shark breathes is it moves, it swims in a streamlined method, and the water passes through its gills. The gills catch all of the oxygen-rich nutrients and push them through the shark's body. And then it secretes the water out of its bladder and the leftover nutrients. The bull shark has the unique ability which no other shark possesses. It can constrict its bladder to where it doesn't require as much to survive. Therefore, it can actually survive where there's very little oxygen-rich nutrients in the water. Salt water is more oxygen-enriched than fresh water. But because the bull shark can constrict its bladder, which is an evolutionary tactic for survival, it can actually absorb more nutrients out of less oxygen-enriched water. I've discussed all three of the hunting strategies. And now let's discuss what you can do to prevent those. The number one tactic to preventing a shark attack is stay out of the water. Because if you get into the water, you're going into their turf. They don't come up on the land and try to pick a fight with you, so don't go in the water. Because if you go in the water, that's their territory. That's where they live, that's their hunting ground, and they have just as much of a dominating fact as human beings do on the land. The next thing you can do is look at what you're wearing when you go in the water, and look at what you're doing. Most of the time, granted, let's just say, for example, I'll take the tiger shark, for example, on this one. Its number one source of prey is the very bright and colorful Australian angelfish. It's very bright, and it's a very shiny, glittery fish. Therefore, what do you think is going to happen to you if you go into the water wearing a bunch of shiny jewelry? Fish naturally have a luminescent glow. Therefore, if you go into the water glowing like a fish, you're probably going to get bit like a fish. Another thing is, all sharks have extrasensory organs that are on the front of their snout and the top of their head, which allow them to pick up small, minute electromagnetic impulses that are derived from prey in distress. If you get in the water and you're splashing around and you're going absolutely ham in the water, they're going to be able to pick up on that electromagnetic impulse that's coming from your body and you're splashing, and they're going to hone in on that. The final thing you can do is look at what you're doing. If you're a scuba diver, look at your equipment. Make sure your equipment is not bright and colorful and will attract a lot of attention, because it will. Make sure that you're not wearing things that could make you look like prey. Taking the great white, for example. The great white's main source of prey is the sea lion, the Arctic sea lion. And if you are on a surfboard, surfing around, be extra careful, be extra cautious, and just remember that from underneath, the surfboard and your hands and your feet look like a sea lion. And the shark is going to bite you. The most dangerous shark is the bull shark. There's really no way to escape a shark attack from a bull shark. They're the most aggressive species, they have the heaviest bite force, and they've caused the most human fatalities of any other species on the planet. The only way you can prevent a shark attack from the bull shark is to just stay out of the water. Stay out of their way. And you're really not safe anywhere, because their natural ability to swim in both freshwater and saltwater and their territorial aggressiveness doesn't really help much at all. But that's it. That's all I've got for you guys. I'm sorry I couldn't really tell you more, but if you have any questions, you can feel free to email me. I have studied sharks for a very long time, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. So just hit me an email if you have any questions. Alright.